Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing news of another special town hall on the proposed casino Wednesday evening, a report from the Ridgecrest Police Department on a probation sweep, news from Channel Lake, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, Wednesday evening there was yet another town hall hosted by the City Council to take comments on the proposed Indian casino. The meeting went from 6 to 10:30 p.m. This was the fourth meeting for this issue. And again, it was almost a full house for this one. At last week's meetings, there were still quite a few people wanting to ask questions and make comments when the topic was cut off to be discussed at a later date. Well, Wednesday evening, they took up where they left off. This will probably be the last town hall on the subject. And as I surveyed the audience, I have to guess the supporters and opponents are just about equal. Most supporters cite the need for things to do in the city and the financial gain of the city in both direct revenue and additional jobs. Supporters also cite the need to diversify the employment base here. This proposed casino would open as the city's second largest employer. The opponents based most of the opposition in two areas. First, challenging the project's business analysis and on moral grounds. There have only been a few concerns about the location. The developer has looked at other locations within the city. All were eliminated for one reason or another. And the developer has said that if this location is not approved, then they would continue with the project only in the county area, thereby costing the city a loss of revenue it would provide. Even the Navy has weighed in as basically neutral on the issue. No one from the base has issued a statement opposing the project or the location. However, they have provided comment that if the project goes forward at the proposed location, the developer should take into consideration the potential for some noise from jets flying overhead. Of course, it was brought out that there are two hotels just about another half-mile south of the proposed location. And there have been no real problems voiced with the jets flying overhead there. Supporters said the city needs to stop running off every new project that comes to the city. The no-growth people do not want the expansion of the city or new business. The water issue came up, of course. Any business has the right to propose and start a business, as long as all building codes and requirements are followed. The addressing of water is part of that process. Unless there is a total building moratorium, you can't use water to deny one new project and then okay a different project. That is not constitutional. Anyway, I expect that after this Wednesday's town hall, the issue will be brought up at the next council meeting on May 18th. And I expect that the council may vote on the project then. So if you want to provide comments, pro or con, now's the time to do so. Be at next Wednesday's meeting. Now in a report from the Ridgecrest Police Department, we get this report of a parole and probation compliance sweep. The sweep took place in the city of Ridgecrest and surrounding areas in Kern County. Last Tuesday, May 10th, the Ridgecrest Police Department conducted a street interdiction team compliance check on subjects who are on active parole, probation, or post-release community supervision living within the city of Ridgecrest and surrounding areas including Buttermilk Acres and Inyokern. The primary goal of the compliance check was to deter criminal activity in the Indian Wells Valley. The operation was comprised of approximately 40 law enforcement officers from the following agencies: Ridgecrest Police Department, Arvin PD, Cal City PD, Delano PD, Taft PD, Bakersfield PD, McFarland PD, Kern County Sheriff's Department, and the Kern County Probation Department. The Ridgecrest Police Department's PACT volunteers assisted in the operation by providing logistics support. During the operation, approximately 33 searches were conducted, resulting in 21 arrests for various violations. Here's the long list of arrests. Glenn Blanton, paraphernalia and PRCS felony hold. Larry Hardwick, 5 misdemeanor arrest warrants. Noel Sanchez, resisting or delaying a peace officer, 1 felony warrant and 2 misdemeanor warrants. Desiree Mendiola, resisting, obstructing a peace officer, and drug paraphernalia. Tommy Segala, resisting a peace officer. Joseph Rainwater, vehicle theft, resisting a peace officer, and 3 misdemeanor warrants. Byron LeBlanc, possession of prescription-controlled substance. David Gerard, paraphernalia. Teresa McCurdy, health and welfare violation. Crystal Taylor, misdemeanor arrest warrant. Kelly Dean, possession of a controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia, and felony parole violation. Robert Martinez, felony parole violation. Ludovina Alva, misdemeanor arrest warrant. Ian McNatt, felony parole violation. Julio Abundis, possession of paraphernalia. Jacques Maiden, possession of controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia, and possession of metal knuckles. Peter Blair, possession of a stolen vehicle. Michael Berard, second-degree burglary, possession of stolen property, and possession of a stolen vehicle. James Maddox, second-degree burglary, possession of stolen property. Stephen O'Reilly, possession of stolen property. And an unnamed juvenile with possession of tobacco products and possession of paraphernalia. Officers were able to locate a stolen motorcycle from RPD case 16-1495 during the operation at Peter Blair's residence. Blair was interviewed, and Joseph Rainwater was also linked to the theft. After an interview of Rainwater, he confessed to the theft and was booked on additional charges. Officers were able to locate Michael Berard, who was a suspect in a commercial burglary reported on May 9th from American Self-Storage. The suspects were driving a stolen U-Haul truck during the burglary and used it to load the property from the storage units. Officers initiated an investigation at the residence in the 100 block of South Holly Canyon, where Berard was located. A probation search of the residence revealed several $1,000s worth of property that had been stolen from the storage units. Berard and an additional suspect, James Maddox, were found to be responsible for the burglary at the storage unit and being in possession of the stolen property. An additional suspect, Stephen O'Reilly, was found to be in possession of stolen property in this theft. All three were arrested, and the property was returned to the owner. Overall, it was a very successful operation. The Ridgecrest Police Department would like to thank all the agencies for their participation in this operation. Now stay with us. We'll have news after the break from China Lake. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's a report of some major testing that occurred at China Lake recently. More than 400 people spent 10 days in April and May testing and counter-testing an array of electronic warfare equipment and systems in an exercise known as Vigilant Hammer 2. As the name suggests, this year marked the second for Naval Air Warfare Center Weapons Division hosting the exercise. The test is managed by the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense, Research and Engineering. VH2 provides a science and technology-oriented venue for testing a variety of electronic warfare systems in an environment that can mimic a level of radio frequency congestion similar to what one might see in a real-world combat environment. Simply put, said Dr. Ron Smiley, Naval Air Systems Command's National Director for Avionics, Sensors and Electronic Warfare, electronic warfare refers to military action that is taken to control or deny our adversaries the use of electromagnetic spectrum for operations, while at the same time permitting friendly forces to have the ability to use the electromagnetic spectrum for their own purposes. VH2 provides an important experimentation and demonstration venue to examine new capabilities and concepts important to electromagnetic battlespace operations. In all, nearly 50 military, industry, academic, and government entities participated in the experiment, which included controlled tests and free play scenarios to allow true collaboration across a wide variety of electronic technology, software, and systems. I think there's no question that the complexity of electronic warfare will continue to increase, Smiley said. So more than ever, the need for interorganizational collaboration has become critical, and NOCWD is the optimal location to host a VH2 type event, given that Point Mugu was the birthplace of naval aviation EW some 65 years ago, and because of the unique national EWRD-T&E labs and facilities and core expertise resident at Point Mugu and China Lake. NOCWD, which hosts land and sea ranges in China Lake and Point Mugu, California, has a 65-year history of innovation in the field of electronic warfare, and some of the Navy's most significant electronic warfare laboratories call NOCWD home. This was a major event for China Lake. Now it's time for the 143rd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Does the Constitution come into play in the casino decision? And does it conflict with religious concerns about the casino? Well, as I reported earlier in the news segment, the Council held their fourth meeting to get public input on the proposed Indian casino. In summary, The opposition is largely based on moral or religious concerns on the impact of a casino. The supporters basically think it should get approved to help the city economically and give the people here something to do. But as I sat there listening to the opposition, I witnessed a few people that are strict constitutionalists locally that are in opposition to the casino. I found that kind of surprising. The Constitution mandates that elected officials make their decision in support of the Constitution. The law requires every citizen of the U.S. to be treated fairly and equally in the application of the Constitution. There is no provision that we invoke the Constitution when it supports our belief and then ignore it when it supports a decision we don't agree with. In the opposition's case against the casino, they seek to prevent the application of a private business to start a business here, based on their own moral or religious beliefs. Now, let me be clear. I am a Christian, Lutheran to be exact, and we have certain church-provided thou shalt nots we follow. And the thou shalt nots are based on the Ten Commandments. Now, let's bring that forward to the casino proposal. Are they violating any laws by proposing this project? No. Are they proposing an illegal business? No. Are they proposing any participation from the city except in the enforcement of the law? No. And here's the biggie. Do they have the right, according to the Constitution, to own and operate a casino? Whether you agree with it or not, the courts have ruled that Indian tribes have that right. For the council to reject the proposal based on beliefs not in the Constitution would not be appropriate. If they reject the proposal based on the law as established by the California and U.S. Constitutions, then they would be right. We are a country of laws, and we have local constitutionalists that take the council to task when they think they are treading on the rights of private citizens. They declare that people have the right to let their property become a nuisance to the local neighborhood, and the city should stay out of their God-given rights. Well, what about the rights of someone to propose another new business? Should they be stopped because someone believes it isn't appropriate? How about my gun store? There are many liberals that believe that all guns should be banned and all gun stores should be closed. Is that legal? Well, according to the Constitution, it isn't. So what are they doing? They're trying to pass new laws prohibiting gun sales. So, is there a law that prohibits casinos? No, there isn't. The courts have ruled on that issue. According to the current laws, the council has to consider the proposal. However, if they were to determine that there were some other prohibition based on current city, state, or U.S. law, then it would be appropriate to reject the proposal. Where are the strict constitutionalists now? Why aren't these folks up there defending the rights of this Indian tribe? Let's take the water issue. Currently, there is no water-based building moratorium. So, without a building moratorium, then the project should be considered on the merits of the project. A water analysis will have to be done by an independent environmental firm that will then make a recommendation. But the analysis will have to be done based on the facts of the project. Actual facts, not hypothetical concepts or beliefs. Solid engineering facts. You engineers have got to grasp that concept. You can't just declare the project should be rejected because it will use our water. So the Super Walmart was approved. So will any new home that gets built in the valley get approved? As the base adds 400 more residents, they will need more water. And no one seems to have a problem with that. But we have a business that wants to add 180 new jobs at the casino to the valley. They have a problem. My point? The council needs to make their decisions based on current laws and the California and U.S. constitutions. They need to make sure that decision is based on the facts before them, supported by current law. If you are a religious person, you know God gave us free will for a reason. We are free to make choices along the way of our life. We are free to make mistakes. We are free to do good things. We are free to do nothing if we want. Does that also sound like the Constitution? Does it say we are all equal? Does the Constitution support that we are free people? Hey, there are many court decisions that I personally don't like or agree with, but the law is the law. It needs to be administered fairly and equally to all citizens of the U.S., not just the ones that believe the way we do. Heck, what if some business proposed to start a climbing wall, and you are an elected official that believes climbing walls are dangerous and should be prohibited? Just because you believe they are dangerous, does that support rejecting them? We, the people, are free. If we want to use a climbing wall, we have a right to do so. without big government banning them? How about a ban on soda drinks in San Francisco over 16 ounces? Because their elected officials believe too much soda is bad for us. That is not allowing us our free will. Actually, I have mixed feelings on the casino. I need to wait until the final agreement is published. I need to hear the answers to the questions asked during the public hearings. I would like to see the council put a chart up on the big screen with the pros and cons of the project, and even include the theories of crime, addictions, etc. Then discuss each one of them. Then make the decision based on the results of those discussions. The law says we cannot discriminate based on race, religion, sexual orientation, etc. In conclusion, the casino decision must be based on the Constitution and current laws and ordinances. The decision must be based on facts. The decision must be based on the concept of a free society. But a free society governed by laws. Laws fairly and equally applied. I'm Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial, or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, severe thunderstorms will be possible Thursday afternoon into Thursday night from the Midwest and Great Lakes region south into the south-central U.S. Damaging winds and large hail will be the main threats. Heavy rainfall and localized flooding concerns may develop over the Ohio Valley and Middle Atlantic. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas is 72, Georgia at 85, Arkansas at 75, Northern Texas at 73, Arizona at 90, and Los Angeles at 64. And for us locally, tonight, clear with a low around 60, east-northeast wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, sunny with a high near 96, southwest wind, 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 60, west-southwest wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 15. Saturday, sunny with a high near 90, southwest wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 57, west wind, 15 to 20 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 30. Sunday, sunny with a high near 85, west wind, 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 56, west-northwest wind, 15 to 20 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 30. And Monday, sunny with a high near 84, west wind, 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday, early evening to everyone. Let's talk about the NBA. Great playoff game last night in Toronto. Toronto holds on. DeMar DeRozan, 34 points as the Toronto Raptors defeat Miami. Boy, Miami played really well, except down the stretch. They just couldn't hit anything when they needed to. Kyle Lowry, the great guard for Toronto, another fantastic game, 25 points, a couple of big threes down the stretch in that one. 99-91 the final. Toronto now leads 3-2. Game number 6 will be in Miami on Friday night. If Miami can win that one, it'll be Game 7 Sunday afternoon in Toronto. It's been a pretty good series there in the East. Okay, let's talk about the NBA tonight. Great exciting game coming up. It'll be San Antonio at Oklahoma City, game number 6. Elimination game for San Antonio. I didn't think I'd be saying that. They don't win tonight, it's all over. Oklahoma City would advance to play Golden State. Golden State, a winner last night. They just have a knack. Golden State does. Curry, another great game, had 31 in that game. And right now it looks like it'll be Golden State against, if Oklahoma City wins tonight, against OKC. That would be a good series. I think San Antonio matches up better with them, but we'll have to see what happens tonight in that one. So, Golden State advances. They win 4-1 against a very scrappy Portland team. Boy, Portland really gave it a great effort last night. They just fell up a little bit short in that one. All right, Major League Baseball. Max Scherzer ties a record for the MLB. 20 strikeouts yesterday in a win. Now, Detroit right now starting to play a little bit better baseball. They lost to Washington yesterday because of the 20 strikeouts, but they're looking a lot better than they did early on. In fact, a lot of the teams that started out poorly this year in the MLB starting to catch fire now and do well, and a couple teams that started out pretty well are now in the dumps, like the San Francisco Giants. So baseball, if you're a baseball fan, kind of a strange start. The Angels have lost 5 straight now. The Angels lost last night at home to St. Louis 5-2. The Angels right now find themselves 6 games out of first place in the AL West. Miami is 4 games over 500. They win again yesterday. They defeat Milwaukee 3-0. Atlanta, who is in the dumps, starting to play better right now. They beat Philadelphia 5-1, and the Texas Rangers beat Chicago 6-5. Chicago 10 games over 500. They've lost 2 straight, but the White Sox are their best start in a long, long time. And Boston again routs Oakland 13-3. That's the first time since 1995 that the Oakland A's have given up 13 runs or more in a game 3 days in a row. Boy, that Oakland pitching must be just horrendously bad. Kansas City one of the teams I mentioned, starting to play much better. They beat the Yankees again for the 2nd straight night. Okay, the NHL. Big game tonight in San Jose, Game 7, Nashville and San Jose. Even if you're not a big hockey fan, it'd be worth to watch this one. The Sharks are an interesting team. They upset the Kings in the West in the first round, and so are the Predators. They upset the Ducks in the first round. Both those teams are the underdogs. Both those teams are still alive. We'll see what happens. Also last night, the St. Louis defeats the Stars, and they advance in the East. All right, that's your sports for this Thursday. Now tomorrow we'll talk about Burroughs softball and baseball. We'll wrap up their seasons, talk about baseball playoffs for Burroughs High School. Also, Emmanuel Christian will be in the playoffs this year. We'll have more tomorrow about that also. That's your sports. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.